I'm in the home folder and I see the Jill, Jack, and Michael home directories. I'm going to right-click on Jill, go down to Properties, and click on the permissions, and we see Jill is the owner, as well as the group name. We talked about this a little bit in a previous video. Every time we create a folder or a file, a group name is assigned, and everything that we've created so far has a group with the same name as the owner. We've created 3 users. Let's take a look at those 3 groups. I'm going to close this and go down to Menu, Administration, Users and Groups. I'm going to click on the Manage Groups. And there's an awful lot of groups in here. Most of them are outside the scope of this beginning tutorial series. We're only concerned with the Jack, Jill, Michael, and any new groups that we create. I'm going down to the Michael group, and we can click on the Properties or just double click on it. We see this group has no members. Not even I am a member in my own group. That's because I'm the owner. There may be times when I want to be a member of this group, so they do give me the option to add myself to this group. I will add Jill to this group and click OK. It's asking for the root user password because the root user is the only one allowed to update this file. So now we've got Jill as a member of the Michael group. I'm going to log off and log back in as Jill. I'm logged in as Jill, and I'm going into the home folders to show that I can get into Michael's folder and view and execute folders and files in the Michael home directory. Now Jill's going to go into the Administration, Users and Groups, Manage Groups, and try and change the Jill folder. She looks at the properties, and if she tries to change them, it's still asking for the Michael root user password. She cannot change this. So if you're a parent, you can give the other parent access to view your child's home folder, and the child can see that both parents are looking at the home folder, but the child cannot change any of that access. I'll close this, log out, and log back in as Michael. Now I want to create a folder that Jack and I can update and make changes to, but Jill has no access to that folder at all. To do that, I'm going down to Menu, Administration, Users and Groups, Manage Groups, and I want to add a new group. Again, it's asking for the root user's password. Now it's asking me for the name of the new group. I'm going to call this Project X. Notice this is all lowercase with no spaces. I'm going to give Jack and Michael access to this group and close. Going into the home folder, I'm going to add a new folder. We will call this Project X. And I want to give group permissions, so I'm going to right-click, Properties, Permissions, and I want the group to be Project X. We don't see it here. That's because we just created it. I'll need to log out and log back in order for this to show. There is a way to do it through the terminal, but for this beginning tutorial, we're just going to log off and log back on. I've logged back in. I'm going into the home folder, and I want to change the permissions of Project X by right-clicking, Properties, Permissions. I'm going to change the group name to be Project X. Now the folder access, I want everyone in Project X to be able to create and delete files. I need to apply the permissions, click close, and we have a problem. That is, Jack cannot get into the Project X folder because he does not have access to my home folder. Jill has access to anything that Michael created in the home folder. But that's all going to change when I right-click, go down to Properties. I'm going to change my permissions for my home folder to have a group access of Project X. That will stop Jill from seeing anything in this folder. Since she can't get into the home folder, she'll not be able to view anything else. Jack can get into the home folder, and we want to give him access to the files. Well, notice there's also a list files. If he has list file access, he will still not be able to get into that Project X folder. So we need to have access files in order for him to update the Project X folder. I'm going to apply these permissions, close, close. I'm going to log out and log back in as Jack. I'm logged in as Jack. I'm going into the home folder. I'm going up and into the Michael home directory. We see some files here that Jack can read, but he cannot view any of the other folders. I'm going to double click on the Project X, right click, and create a folder. We will call this Created by Jack. I'm going to right click on the folder and change the properties, because right now Jack is the owner and Jack is the group. I want to change this to the group of Project X, and I want everyone in Project X to be able to create and delete files. I'm going to apply the permissions and click close. Now I'm going to close this and log out and log back in as Michael. I'm logged back in as Michael, going into the home folder, my Project X folder, and here we see the Created by Jack folder. I'm going to double click, right click, and I can create a folder or a document. We'll create an empty file. We'll call this createdbymichael.txt. And that shows that Michael and Jack can both update and add folders and files using the Project X group. If you like these videos, please tell a friend.